Undergrunt.
The worst thing that ever happened to me was on Christmas.
Oh, God.
It was so horrible.
It was Christmas Eve.
I was 9 years old.
Me and Mom were decorating the tree, waiting for Dad to come home from work.
A couple hours went by.
Dad wasn't home!
So Mom called the office.
No answer.
Christmas Day came and went, and still nothing.
So the police began a search.
4 or 5 days went by.
Neither of us could eat or sleep.
Everything was falling apart.
It was snowing outside.
The house was freezing, so I went to try to light up the fire.
That's when I noticed the smell.
The fireman came and broke through the chimney top.
And me and Mom were expecting him to pull out a dead cat or a bird.
And instead, they pulled out my father.
You were dressed in a Santa Claus suit.
He'd been climbing down the chimney, his arms loaded with presents.
He was gonna surprise us.
He slipped and broke his neck.
He died instantly.
And that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus.
In a small little ship in the center of Mars was a sack of souls with experiment scars. When a psychedelic monk said, "I'll take 2," and he put them in a rocket and he ate a lot of glue. And he shot them straight to Earth where they turned into babies. They were named from that, and they rarely got rabies. And the monk made a movie of their whole entire lives. They were panoramic scenes and zooms of the time. One time Bob had sex with a ladle, and one time Matt lost a vet to a cradle, and another time Bob caught a dinosaur mom, and another time Matt bought a replica of Guam. And all this more is on a DVD set, only $20.99 with the purchase of a gem. But if you call right now and say, "Where's my whisk?" we'll include this bonus disc.
Hey, welcome to Bonus Disc! Look at everyone jump back! I'm your host. I'm your co-host, Bob Rose.
Shut up.
With me is the host, Matt Pierre, and he has brought together with us today Ronald James and John Walker of the Movie Schmovie podcast.
Let me ask you guys a question. What have I done since you've been here and I've been here that would ever make you think I was the host of this show?
I mean, you've done some stuff.
Answer the question.
Did he not choose the movie?
Are you paying people to do this?
Did he choose the movie? I didn't. You're in control. Anyway, thank you, Matt, for choosing this wonderful movie,
it is a good
Hawkeye from 1988, that is fully available in all glorious pixelized VHS glory on YouTube.
Dude, the opening credits are fucking unreadable. It's awesome.
You can't tell anything.
If we were watching on a TV that size, no way. It's just going to be red blocks.
So
How
did this movie cross your path? Like, is this a known bad movie, or did you have to?
I know. Like, I'm on Reddit for a bad movie Reddit, and this guy was like, I put together a playlist of over 100 shitty movies, and I was just going through them, and I watched this one after like 2 other ones. And
This
I was
should
like,
be notable. This should be known.
Yeah.
I feel like if
great.
Samurai
It's
Cop
bad
is
as
famous,
Samurai Cop, man, it really is.
Yeah,
like,
it's as good as
there's, like,
Samurai
lines
Cop.
that are not even thought about before they're said. It's amazing.
I'm willing to say, right off the top, that Hawkeye is a better film than Samurai Cop. There, I said it.
Okay.
Wait, clarify what you
Slightly
mean.
more confident.
Clarify what you mean.
Slightly.
It's more cinematic. The lighting is better.
A little.
Their use of random institutional hallways and parking lots and things like that was like
I don't know,
very
man. I think Samurai
imaginative.
Cops, some of the sets are better.
yes.
Like, I could tell it was a house. This movie, it was...
Samurai Cop was just a guy holding a camera and stuff. This movie, they thought about it. They were like, we're going to have this shit. We'll get to it. That fucking hallway scene where they
let's just
meet
say
is
that Samurai
amazing.
Cop like brought in a. They had like the white guy and the black guy working together, and their black guy was like kind of in between genres. He was kind of Eddie Murphy. He was kind of Danny Glover. He was kind of
Eddie Murphy.
But Hawkeye,
He's clearly
went full on Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. I didn't really like celebrity impersonators until. I fucking hate celebrity impersonators.
This changed your whole
yes.
mind. Oh, man.
I want to see all of them now. Every single
I gotta
one.
look at this
Frank
guy's entire
Caliendo,
career.
here you come, man.
Okay, so Chuck Jeffries, who plays
Chuck Jeffries
Wilson.
is a
Wilson.
All right, and so
You said you looked him up, right? You guys looked him up.
Actually, I found out something interesting about Chuck Jeffries, but I'll save it for what you were going to say.
So here's what's very important to me. I'm a black person, right? So when I hear people who are not minorities say that somebody looks like somebody, I often get offended.
Yeah, it's like
normally pretty
not
honest.
okay.
So when you guys told me he looks just like Eddie Murphy, I was like, yeah, right.
Well, you white people know you don't know shit. Racist.
You bigot. Then when I saw him, I said, holy shit.
Dude, you look exactly
Maybe you're
like
not
him.
that racist.
Dude, at
Maybe.
certain angles, it's impossible.
It's impossible to tell.
No, even when he's casually talking,
Yeah.
the guy sounds like
He's
Eddie
really
Murphy.
actually he's better when casually than any other
Than when
time.
he's out
Throughout the movie, I would
he's
go,
being sincere.
wait a minute, is this Eddie Murphy?
Yeah,
like,
it was fucking
pretending
crazy.
to be Chuck Jeffries? And
Is it like a Bowfinger situation? Does he have a brother? Did Bowfinger happen and it was this movie?
Crazy.
but I'm with you. I want to see more Chuck Jeffries.
I want to see more, man.
He also did like a jump, flip, kick thing at one
He
point.
did.
that
He did.
No, he's definitely like more talented physically than Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
like as far as
way better.
fighting, like
Dude,
for
He's
action
like a
movies.
muscular version of Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy, which is really weird. And then he does spin kicks several times, which really made me feel weird. The roundhouse kicks. I just
And
think
not to mention the shirts, man.
Why?
Look,
The
look,
shirts.
What's
Here's
wrong
the
with a
thing.
roundhouse
Here's the
kick?
thing. You got to pick and choose your roundhouse kicks.
What the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying?
Are you? He was talking about the roundhouse kick. We were watching it, man. He's obsessed with
You're
it.
like a doctorate on roundhouse kicks. Let me read your thesis.
You can't just
please.
hand out roundhouse kicks. Have you ever seen?
It's a power move, man. They're
It-
going for fucking the throat.
Good.
A guy was wearing a mesh shirt. He's gonna roundhouse kick some shit. He wants everyone to see his crotch if you're wearing that
Hell
shirt,
yeah.
man.
Especially if he gets up and over that mesh shirt, he pulls an acid wash denim jacket.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a gun belt and a mesh shirt
Yeah.
and a denim acid wash
Wait, while we're
denim
talking about
vest.
how much this guy looked like Eddie Murphy, we have to bring out how you were just like, dude, he fucked so many people.
Yeah.
Like in the
Oh,
80s.
yeah. There's no way. Women had
Dude.
sex with him and thought they were having sex with Eddie Murphy. That's how
1988.
much.
This movie was made in 1988 or released in 88, so maybe shot in 87.
Yeah.
Probably he developed that over a few years. I imagine he got cast by somebody who knew he could exactly impersonate
Eddie
and
Murphy,
then he kind of
yeah.
looked like him.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there had to be around that time was when Eddie Murphy was at his peak superstar Eddie Murphy-ness. So you imagine if that guy was in a bar, people would believe.
People
You wouldn't even
hurt
have to
just
convince
hearing
them.
him like order a drink.
Yeah.
He
you know,
worked on that
panties just
impression
flying
to
at him, you know?
fuck women
Yes.
not to get roles in movies. There's no way because he's just like, I have to hang out. I'm in Hollywood. I'm a
Yeah.
stunt man. I'm just going to be here. I look like Eddie Murphy. No one is fucking me because I'm just Charlie Wilson.
I'm gonna become Eddie
I'm just
Murphy.
going to be Eddie Murphy.
Why not? Everybody tells me I
Yeah.
look like him. Why not?
Anyway, okay.
I can beat the
we can
shit
talk
out of
about
him.
his similarity.
All right. We haven't even
all
started talking about
day.
the movie at all.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so the movie starts out with this weird front-loaded scene of
Yeah,
where
where
it
they
breaks the fourth wall.
Fuck me. Why? No.
Why? I don't know. At first I thought it was from the end, but it's not.
No.
It's not
No.
from the end. It's from him. It's him and another guy.
It says it's some guy at a gambling table and he walks up and he goes, John Hakamoto or whatever. They call me Hawkeye. And the guy's like, whatever, dude. And he's just like, I'm arresting you. It was like weird. And you're just like, what? Are they talking
It
to
starts with just a wide shot of him walking in. I'm arresting you. Okay. Yeah.
everybody? No
Talks
one can
to the
act in this
camera.
movie. No.
It's great.
Nobody.
Absolutely no
But
one
he
did a good
saunters in
job.
with that, what we
Except
now,
for the
what
Eddie
we now
Murphy
know to
guy.
be that George Chung energy, that look
Yeah.
overcoming a neurological event
Yeah.
kind of
No.
acting.
No, he's talking through a stroke, man. He's working his way through it. Like the arteries aren't going to
He
stop.
is really
so.
glassed over, kind of just looking.
Yeah. He sounds like, you know, when you fucking hate to say, you know, when you go to like a corner store in a really shitty
Jesus.
area, and it's like that kid that's been there for his whole life, except he had a stroke, and then he's just like speaking with this like weird slang, this like version of what he thinks black people sound like.
And his face looked like swollen.
Yeah, it
Like he was retaining water or something. You know what I mean?
Thinking,
Like-
did he get like stung by a bee?
yeah. It looked weird because that's why he couldn't talk. It was just like
He's talking through his tongue, and that's what's really hard to.
But he still had that like Chuck Norris like bravado about
Yeah,
him. Like
I liked
he was there.
No,
this
yeah.
guy was trying.
He really was.
He really was.
He's like, Chuck Norris's face never moved. That's what I'm doing. Just gonna go.
They'll appreciate it if I go the whole way. That's it.
But there
I'll
were
go
also
hard.
like colorful lines. It wasn't like he just had like grunting dialogue that he was going to mumble his way through. He had lines like, somebody pissed in your cornflakes, or whatever he said to his girlfriend. But out of his mouth, it comes out. It's like,
While he's rolling over too, which makes it even harder to hear because he's like,
And also, he's an 80 artist like Dream because his mouth isn't moving. So you can literally just say anything later. Like, oh, we can just change the plot.
I think this was a George Chung like auteur project. I think that he's the guy behind this. So he probably got up from saying that line and said, "Got it, guys.
Right.
Done.
Next time."
Perfect. Perfect scene.
You didn't see my mouth move, right? Great, we can fix that later. It doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever.
Hollywood is magic.
So anyway, he punches out this guy that he's arresting in a
beats him up
casino.
in the middle of a casino floor.
Then he looks into the camera. He breaks the fourth wall. This is like 30 seconds into the movie that doesn't have any other meta joke in it.
That's true.
No.
This is the only meta joke in the movie.
Sets the tone.
Sets the tone. He tells us who he is, right?
He
That-
says his name, I think. What did he say? Something like, that's why they call me Hawkeye.
No, he says that's Hakamoto, whatever Hakamoto, and then he says, but people call me something else or something like that, and then it cuts to the name.
Oh, yeah, and then Hawkeye goes zoom.
Then we
onto
get the loop
screen.
music for like 5 minutes of names. The whole 80s.
They broke the fourth wall
You can't
immediately in the movie. And like I said, he's only called Hawkeye twice in the film.
Yeah.
By a woman.
And
A
by the
woman
opening
once
credits.
and Charlie once. And I guess the credits count, sort
I'm
of.
telling you, it's like a sex name. The woman called him Hawkeye during sex, and he went with it.
But
like
Charlie calls him. Wilson
It
calls him
worked.
that one.
It works. It gives him the the
Hawkeye.
whole bravado thing.
But everybody just calls him like Country Boy or Slim or all this Texas boy. And you're just like...
I like the things that they did for him to be like Southern. So like they're like, give him
We'll
some
get to
boots.
it. We'll get to it.
All right, we got to start this
Yeah,
movie.
okay, so...
Give him some boots.
So the credits happen, you can't read them.
Right, then
At
we get
all.
to the scene where this guy's head is like fully in frame and he's turning left to right like 4 or 5 times.
In like complete blackness.
Yeah,
What is
it's like a
happening?
lazy Susan,
In
you know?
rhythm to the music, it's kind of like
With the
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
to this movie is also amazing.
Yeah, it's loops. It's all
It's-
loops.
yeah,
it's
someone
all
turned
loops.
the Casio on and left it on.
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
is the music.
a drug
the
deal's
scene's
going
still going
down.
on.
A drug deal's go or something.
An interaction of some sort.
No, because that's right.
No, because this makes absolutely no sense at the end of the movie. There's this guy, Sam, and he's buying drugs, and he has a briefcase that supposedly has money in it.
filled with money, right?
Then he tests the drugs with a
switchblade, with your
which
handy
you
dandy
have to
switchblade,
do.
drug
everybody
testing
does.
knife, which
Dude,
everyone has.
That's like in the drug buyer
It's
kit.
imperative.
It's like
and you have to hold it out for
leather
long enough.
jacket, black sunglasses, switchblade.
I always think like when they puncture the bag, I'm like, now you've got like that hole that drugs
Yeah.
are gonna fall out.
It's gonna be a
whatever.
powdery mess.
Right?
It's fucking
Put another
stupid.
piece of tape on it.
Yeah, what did they say? Like, I'm just a maniac, dude. He just
yeah.
So after he pays for it, he just dumps it down his throat.
It goes badly. The deal goes bad
For Sammy Johnson.
Sammy
for
Johnson.
for
gets
Sammy
killed.
Johnson because the evil guy wearing those like
Glasses. Was that
those
someone we
insane metal
recognized?
metallic
Yeah.
glasses.
Was that the Yakuza guy's henchman? with
No,
black
that was the
sunglasses
main
on?
guy. That was the
That
Italian
was the
guy.
Cesario.
That was Cesario wearing.
Cesario.
And he was wearing like Doc Brown from Back to the Future 2
Yeah,
glasses.
they
He
were
looked
weird.
insane. He's
That's
like
why I
dressed like he's in the
couldn't tell who it
Matrix. And like, yeah, he looked nuts. He shoots him in the eye.
Dude, it was the cleanest
think.
shot in the eye I've ever
Oh,
seen.
yeah.
The cleanest tennis shoes I've ever seen. Too,
Yeah.
that that guy had.
Oh, that guy was wearing some sensible shoes. Yeah, you
Some
could tell.
new Reeboks.
Yeah, everyone was dressed like a dad.
Yeah, everyone has dad.
Everybody
jeans
was
in
like
this
a
movie.
Dad foo.
I guess
yeah.
in '88, what we see as dad jeans now was like that was the cutting edge. That was the way
Yeah.
you wore them,
High up.
high and tight.
That was cool guy jeans
Yeah,
back
right.
then. Now it's dad jeans, because they all became dads.
Navels
Anyway,
go under your waistline.
Those
Absolutely.
that survived
Yeah.
were lucky enough
must
to become
be like
dads.
that.
Yeah.
survived all that. All this, because this was life. It's just cops roaming free, beating up children and shit. Anyway, so then we
So
cut
he gets
to
killed.
He's dead. And that's important because that's like the whole plot. Apparently, I thought
you
that
would
was like
never
a
be able to
throwaway.
tell
This
after that.
city's evil type scene. No,
Yeah.
it's the plot.
You thought that was like an inciting incident.
Yeah, like look how evil this city is, you know. But no, that was the plot.
So then we cut to a diner that's supposed to be in an office, like in
Dude,
a police station.
like a
So we
country
think.
pumpkin
It's all
diner.
they did was take the little carousel of juices
And
and
move
shit
it.
and put it over there.
You can even see
go.
part of a table that's
Yeah.
next to it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
They couldn't move that one out of the shot.
And this guy's like, "Where's Hakamoto?" And then
He's always late.
He's always late and all this shit. And she's like, "He's getting his black belt test." And he's like, "He's a maniac." You're like, "What?"
The cell phone that he pulls out. That's that's clearly
No,
just a
he says,
phone.
"Can you get me something?" And she walks out of frame and comes back with a phone. But it's like, are we in a diner or an office?
Yeah.
Where's that phone coming from?
What is happening?
It's just a cordless phone, though.
Yeah,
They're
It's
acting
a
like a
cordless
cell
house phone.
They're
It's
acting
not
like it's a cell phone, which
Right.
But
really
I think
is
it
weird.
could just be an office and his desk is over there. I don't know.
in a diner.
But it's not. It's
Maybe
so
it's like a
almost
cafeteria. It's like a nook in an office, like a cafeteria.
Why is he doing paperwork with his
Because it's lunchtime, man.
with fucking secretary? Hey, come to lunch with me. I'm gonna do paperwork and still tell you to do stuff. But we're gonna do it in the diner instead of here.
Me and my secretary, we both work at the same tiny desk all day. But we keep the phone across the room.
Just so we don't fight over
Because
it.
it's such a tiny desk. You know?
Yeah, there's just enough space for the briefcase and a cell phone.
Yeah.
And 2 cups of water. That's it.
And a sugar caddy. What's that doing there?
Yeah, that's why they had to move it, and a giant window.
Yeah.
It's so big. It's obviously a diner. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's when we cut to
we get
Hakamoto in the like the precinct, right?
No, this is when he's at the kung fu
that's what the
master
Kung Fu
plays,
Master's thing.
where you
Yeah,
watch all
right.
these people doing
This hip hop
barely
like loop starts
Yeah.
playing. I can't even. It sounds like it's from The Fifth Element. If it was a MIDI, if like The Fifth Element was scored with MIDI.
Yeah, the MIDI demo.
The MIDI demo, like this is what we want to do. They used it here. Yeah,
So
and
good.
it's like it's a Shaolin temple or sort of
With
or
these
community
weird-
center that sort of looks like a Shaolin
It
temple.
could be anything.
And it has like multicolored mats, like gymnast mats everywhere, and it's a whole bunch of karate guys doing
stuff
something.
for way too long.
Taking his black belt test, which doesn't really look like a black belt test.
Is that
it's
a
just
thing?
like him getting kicked.
Do you just
by
take tests?
6
Is it like
guys.
the SATs?
I didn't know
like
that worked. Yeah. What would he do in between meeting someone? It's like, I'm going to take my black belt test and then meet my
That's
boss.
such an 80s
Oh,
thing to
do
do
it
in a
like-
movie. Like, I'm sorry, I got a black belt
I got a
test
black
I have
belt
to
test.
attend.
And you know,
It's so
that was
weird.
the only part of the movie, too, where he checked his hands to make sure that they were all right. You know, there was that lingering
Yeah,
shot
yeah,
where
he
he's,
was
really
like,
checking him out. I thought
Yeah.
that
I'm really
was
gonna
be a
fuck
thing.
somebody up with these hands, man.
These weapons that I own. You
I
know,
own
yeah.
these fucking things.
Because that's when he talks to that super
guy,
dad,
that white guy,
I
the
wish he was
whitest man
in
ever.
the whole movie. That guy was so good.
Because he borrowed his car. I was like, oh, is he
He's
his
gonna
partner
call-
already?
They used his car the entire movie.
They never gave it back. I'm just behind that.
And they never showed him again. Where did he go?
He just stole that fucking guy's
He stole his
car.
fucking car.
That's awesome.
The guy looks like Homer Simpson if he was a human. And he
So-
can barely, he's reading
Good
lines off a
Lord.
card. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's
But
so
his
bad.
voice sounds like Nick Cage a little bit.
a little bit. And he gets the word that he has to go stop a bank robbery. Hawkeye gets the word he has to go stop a bank
After he just
robbery,
kicked
right?
the shit out of like 6 dudes.
Yeah.
For the black belt test.
Yeah.
And then
so he borrows that guy's
Yeah.
car and he leaves. Wait, the bank robbery started already. Where
Yeah, the bank robbery starts right before the
Ronald was like,
karate
"She's
test.
beautiful."
The lady that assists this black
He
guy
said
to
pretty.
robbing the bank is
So
fucking
pretty. She's
gorgeous.
pretty.
He's like,
Probably more
maybe
like
not
an-
now.
setting.
yeah, she probably looks like ass. That looks like an ass now. Like the surface of an ass.
If she was in this movie, she probably went through some shit, man.
Yeah. She probably did a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
She looks like she did a lot of coke.
Yeah, that was her payment, man. It's not. She was making money.
a lot of sex without condoms.
With Eddie Murphy that she thought was Eddie Murphy.
How many people? How many people?
That's how they hired all the
People were
actors.
working on this movie thinking they were working with
Eddie Murphy.
Dude, I'm
Oh,
going to a movie
man.
with Eddie Murphy right now.
You don't
Yeah.
even know.
This is gonna be huge.
Yeah, there wasn't like Instagram where you could take a picture of him,
Yeah.
so they just believed it. Okay, yeah,
Right.
from
Oh,
a
it's
distance,
Eddie Murphy.
that's Eddie Murphy. Okay.
This-
So yeah, they go. So
There's
he-
a bank robbery where they're there for way too long because it's showing that while he's
Yeah.
kung fu fighting.
and it's obviously bank robbers because the guy is wearing like a cowboy hat and an overcoat and
Yeah.
holding a woman in front of him. It's like everyone run. You know that guy's not making a transaction. You think he has a savings account? No.
Is anybody paying attention?
No. So, there's a bank robbery going on that Hawkeye needs to stop.
And what
So
happens
he-
on the steps of the bank is
It might be the
Yeah.
best scene of the movie, honestly.
But I love that he found out it was happening while he was doing the test.
Yeah.
He finished beating the guys. He borrowed a car. He changed his clothes.
Picked up some coffee.
Drove somewhere. Picked up a cup of coffee. Got to the bank, and Bob, you were like, "Why are they still robbing this fucking bank?"
It's like a
They didn't
45
leave.
minute bank.
They didn't even exit. They were in the middle of the robbery. It wasn't even like they were at the end
No,
of
they
the
were
robbery.
still robbing. He shows up and they're like, I guess we got to go outside now. Like,
Well, bring hostages.
this
Shit,
is an
I
all-day thing, man.
I didn't think they'd get here so fast. Like, they drove from the middle of nowhere
It's
to the
like-
dojo.
You're in
on top
Las
of the fucking
Vegas.
I think they
It's
were
like-
counting the money. I think that's what it was. They were literally counting the money.
Also, can I point out that
The
to have a
shitty money.
movie that takes place in Las Vegas and you open it up with a bank robbery seems weird to me.
Yeah.
Also, they
Not a casino robbery.
Yeah.
a
No,
bank
bank robbery. Why not?
It looks like a suburban bank. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
look
it doesn't
like
look
Yeah.
like it's in Las Vegas.
it's not on the strip or
No,
anything.
not
It's
at all.
just
Each station had like maybe 10 bills, which made me really uncomfortable. That I guess that's what it was. They were just like, we came for this.
yeah.
Count
There's
the
got to be
money.
more. Somebody go
There'll
get
be more
more
money.
and bring it out here. We'll wait. We'll wait. We got time.
Don't you have any of those bags we can use
Yeah, I
with the
thought
dollar
everything was just-
signs? Just fill those up with feathers, right? Yeah.
I mean, we dress like this, so we should be given those bags. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
So that's how this works.
We have the little black eye masks on and everything. We're sneaking into the
it's like an army of hamburglers. It's like,
and
So yeah, Hawkeye
Hawkeye
shows up to it. They step outside. He's like,
with hostages.
Yeah.
That's important.
He
So
knows
Hakamoto,
her.
who is like a renegade cop who's like on some kind of sabbatical because of some screwed up stuff that's happened in the past.
We'll find about later.
But the
yeah.
other cops decide they're just gonna like hang out and see what he does.
Yeah, they're all just leaning. The guy's like leaning on his bike. The
Yeah.
guy's open the door, kind of like
Yeah,
leaning
it's
on
like an
his
episode
elbows.
of Chips, man. They're just like,
just standing
whatever.
there
Yeah.
watching.
When can I go
Which
home and
I
get
read
scotch?
as these extras aren't even sure they're in the shot, and that's why they're kind of standing there so casual. You know, they're just like.
Yeah, the reverse
Yeah.
on Hakamoto was obviously shot at a completely different
yeah.
time and with all the hostages.
with this
So
this
good.
hostage situation, you're under the distinct impression that this woman is the head of all this shit.
Yeah, he says he knows her.
yeah.
He's like, you're the Catwoman of St. Louis.
But they
or
never
some
show her
shit.
again
Yeah,
after the
never.
situation.
Well.
It's very, he makes it seem
She died of an overdose after that scene in her trailer,
must have.
probably, or something.
fucking and sucking
No, they
Eddie Murphy.
killed all of them.
But they killed it like, this is
No,
what's,
wait a minute. Before you get to killing
okay,
all of them, there is the
goddamn it.
best death in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is
Hakamoto was like, "Don't fuck with me."
don't fuck with me, and then
And
the
then
guy,
she goes,
the guy in
"Don't
the
fuck with me."
Right.
And then Hakamoto turns his back to her. They're so close to each other. Like,
No,
he's
like 3 feet.
Yeah,
They're
3 or 4
really-
feet
yeah.
away. He takes one step away. She shoots the hostage in the back with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, you fucked up." and,
all the cops are still leaning
still
like
just
like-
nothing
Yeah.
has happened.
Let's see what he's gonna do, guys.
They don't even have guns on these
so what
people.
does he do? He proceeds to get a megaphone and then stand.
Yeah, he
2
walks
feet.
away and gets the
Megaphone stands 2 feet in front of a guy who's holding a hostage and just goes like in the megaphone, like, "You guys have to give up in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right, well."
I'm a
They
murderer.
could have heard him say that.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
No one was more than 8 feet from him at any
Move
point.
on the sidewalk where he hits the ground and kind of does a little flip around.
Yeah, it's like a little breakdance.
That's kind of
move.
his signature.
He's
He's
up
done.
on
He
his
does it a
tummy,
few
yeah.
times. Yeah.
And then he kills all of them. No, wait. He punches.
Yeah.
He punches the
Punches
hostage.
a hostage in the face.
He uses the hostage to
Why?
punch the guy.
Yeah, no, she's like a fulcrum for his fist. Like, he punches her and she slams into his head. It's like, why would you leave that
really
in the
wild.
movie?
Yeah, he had the megaphone and he's just like, toss, punch the hostage,
Yeah.
pull out a gun, shoot that
Shoots
guy.
everybody.
And you're like,
Everybody
whoa.
dies except for the black woman
Yes.
who gets
Taken away.
arrested. It never appears
Casually
again.
as
But I'm
fuck.
just saying he acts like she's like a queen pin.
Oh, yeah.
The whole fucking time, and
Well,
she
he finally
never.
got her, dude. That's how good he is. This
Oh,
movie doesn't
shit.
have any level of like you can't
Yeah.
tell when anything
You can't
matters.
tell, and no one's excited.
No
When
one
they're that crime
reacts
scene
to
after
anything.
like 9 people have been shot to death, those cops are like casually pushing her in the car. Like, I guess we'll just go back to the station.
Yeah,
Like,
we-
Funny.
there's-
At the end of the
process.
scene, there's no indication that they're not just leaving all the bodies there.
yeah.
They just
There's
walk
a
away.
big full of terrified people who just heard a
This-
bunch of people get murdered. And
Corpses.
then the cops are going to disappear and there's just corpses everywhere. And they're
You have
like,
to walk over.
what the fuck, man. Worst day
You
at the
can
bank
leave. It's
ever.
fine. All right, let's go.
I'm doing
Yeah.
all my banking online from now on. This is bullshit.
Then the next thing they congratulate him, right? They congratulate Hawkeye for destroying everyone, right?
No, that's when he goes back to the station.
back to the
It's
station.
that scene in the parking lot
Oh,
outside.
yes.
That is so great.
He's talking to some
Great bust.
guy.
Yeah, he says great bust. It's like, no, it's a disaster.
There's dead bodies still over there. Like this conversation's taking place while those bodies are still rotting in the sun. Basically, he's like, "Good bus,
What this is the thing.
terrible bus."
What would be the idea of what would be a shitty bus in this scenario? If all these people died, what would be
The bank exploded. There's a crater in the ground filled with dead children. Like, what the hell's
I
shitty?
think that would be a shitty. Is that what would be?
Last time there was a bank robbery, the cop like stole a school bus and tried to chase him down, accidentally killed
Like
all
a
these
city
kids.
block was incinerated.
Okay.
It's like,
So
They
the
should have cut back later in the film to just see the corpse was moldering on the steps.
right.
Yeah, picking at it.
And then Hawkeye shoots the vultures.
He's just driving by, he's just like boom, 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 boom.
Killing
is
them in that other guy's car. The fact that it's another guy's car this whole movie, I didn't think.
I have to
Amazing.
say that escaped my attention, but that's great.
Yeah.
He never gives it back to
He
Ernie
never
or
gives the
whatever.
He
car
takes it on a car chase. It definitely gets bullet holes in it and stuff.
yeah.
a lot of loose ends in this movie.
Hell yeah.
This movie should be just called Loose Ends.
Loose ends, yeah,
There's
man.
a lot
Or
of
loose
those.
change. Oh, okay. No. Never mind.
This is
It
pre 9/11,
doesn't
Bobby.
matter.
There's
I
no
know.
way they were alluding to 9/11 in this movie. It's
But
way
were
too
they
early.
knew
Back in '88.
They knew that 9/11 was a shitty bus.
That's a
All right.
Anyway, so they're having that conversation. It's like, he goes, "Good bus, dude," and he goes, "Yeah, man." He pulls out his gun and he points it at Charlie Wilson,
Yeah.
the like
For
Eddie
no
Murphy
reason.
guy. And he just walks in frame and like disarms him. He's like, "Man, what the fuck are you doing?" That's the first time they meet.
That's the first time
he
he meets.
pulls a gun on him
Yeah.
after he's just killed 10 people, and now he's brandishing a gun in broad daylight in the parking lot. And a man he's never met. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm a badass."
And
It's like,
threatening to murder children.
Oh
that
yeah, the
hasn't
children
happened
thing.
yet.
Out of nowhere, he goes to children and says, "I'm supposed to teach you how to be a cop."
Yeah, they
And
both
then,
have to do
and
it.
then a child sasses him, and then he gets down
tells
to
him
his
a
level and
story.
says, "Let me tell you about Lionel." The story about Lionel, where he's like, this kid like
No, the
pissed me
kid
off.
asked him, "Has he ever killed anybody?"
Yeah, he
and
said,
he
yeah.
leans down and he goes, "Yeah, there was this guy."
There was this one guy named.
He doesn't say his
Oh,
name
he
until
doesn't
the
say it.
end.
Yeah,
he
that's
the
says
kicker.
what he
Yeah.
did to the guy first.
He
which
shot
is
him in the face.
He shot him in the
And he
face.
mimics it to the kid with
Yeah.
his hand. He's like, "I shot him in the face,"
and then
then
kicked
he
him in his balls until his eyes turned
until his
blue.
eyes turned
Eyes
blue.
turned blue.
He violated a corpse.
Then he said he threw up. The guy threw up, but he swallowed it back because he was squeezing his
But
face
it's a
so
corpse.
hard.
He shot him in the head.
Hey man, you know.
And then he
So
says
not
that
all
his
of
name
this
was
is important.
Lionel. I hate that name.
That name. He pushes the kid back, and all the kids are like, "His name's Lionel."
Yeah.
His name's Lionel.
His
And they're
name's
like-
Lionel.
So dumb.
And then it showed the Eddie Murphy guy.
does the same fucking
Same
thing to a
thing.
slightly older kid. He's just like, "Oh yeah, oh you want to be a drug dealer? How about I bust your ass? If I can bend you backwards, cripple you, motherfucker!" Like Jesus, what?
What is
I don't
happening?
understand. I don't understand
I
why.
wonder why people don't like cops.
He even used
These
like,
are the heroes of the movie.
Yeah, this is oddly timely, isn't it?
Yeah,
guys?
right?
his threat even had like an Eddie Murphyism, and he said something about doo-doo in his thing. He was
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
bending his legs backwards around his head, and so
Yep.
He didn't do the laugh though.
He didn't.
He
He never
didn't.
did the
He
laugh.
never did
really
the.
did the laugh.
He looked like
Yeah.
he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looked like he really wanted to.
that's where they said just not that.
No, here's what
they
I
do
believe.
everything
he
up
didn't
to.
do the laugh because he couldn't do the laugh.
Oh,
They
okay.
would not have. They would not have had.
That's
the taste
copyrighted.
to refrain.
Little do you
Yeah.
know that laugh is copyrighted.
right.
Yeah, no one
I
can
don't
do
This,
it.
know
this is
about
the
that.
first time you get to see.
That was so shameless, though. I'm just saying, if that guy could do the laugh, they would have been like, do the laugh like 18
All the
times.
time.
Oh yeah,
Please.
yeah, totally.
Cop corruption. This is the first time you get to see what it really means to be a cop in this environment, threatening little kids.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can threaten little. You can
Threaten little
scare
kids.
Oh,
the
they're
shit
totally
out of
shitty
kids.
cops.
Shitty cops.
They are shitty cops.
Which
They're
is
most
weird because like the movie seems to think that they're awesome.
Yeah,
but they're
And it's
not.
like dude, they're not good at all.
they're just
It's like,
shitty,
no.
shitty cops.
Terrible
Well, I think
humans.
this, the script is this fever dream of, like ideas. I really think this was written the way that, like, the way people would, after a popular movie, people like hack writers
Yeah,
can
right.
write like something that rips a lot of things off, but they don't put it in the right context. This really feels like a guy who watched a lot of action movies and was like, I want to have a scene like this and a scene like this and a scene like this.
Dude,
no, that's what I said. There was
like, you know how
like
Die Hard on a bus type of thing?
Yeah.
This was like 48 hours in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what somebody like pitched it as.
There are scenes that happen just because they have to, and none of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's just like this. There needs to be a scene here now.
There needs to be a fight now.
fighting.
How about they go to a martial? I don't want to.
Don't get. Okay, so they're in the priest. They're getting yelled at by the chief, pretty much.
This is the
best scene.
Man,
this is why it's shot way better than fucking Samurai Cop, because they were like, we have to utilize this hallway to the best of our ability.
Yes.
And they're like, all right, we found a corner that has 4 different colored walls. And then
it's like a romper room corner. It's insane looking. It's nuts.
We'll film the whole scene from like 5 feet away, and then film all the singular shots from the center of that hallway, so everybody has to take like 2 or 3 steps back.
Yeah, but like it's the single shots have so much air on the side. You're like, that guy's standing next to another person, but he's not there
They
anymore.
would have at least had to show a shoulder of a person beside him. No. These are individually shot.
Individually
It was
shot
awesome.
humans,
It's because they just sat in the middle of the hallway and were like, this is what it'll look like during the conversation.
It'll be fine.
It's not. It's not.
But the eye lines, it's like this guy's looking over here, this guy's talking to someone upstairs. This
the eye line's awesome. It's a mess.
Yeah.
The 180-degree rule does not apply here. It's like, whatever. Who are you? Yeah.
Each of the people are shitting on the practices of the cops, which is hilarious because one of the guys just keeps saying, fuck that, fuck you, fuck that, and fuck you. And the other guy's like, you really have to get yourself together.
He's like William
He's like,
Shatner
go back
falling
to
asleep
fucking
yelling
shitting.
at them.
He shits on Texas so much.
Yeah, he calls him he comes that he
This
tells him
isn't
he
a
calls him
Texas. He says like this isn't a
He says,
Texas.
this ain't no fucking Texas.
That's it. Yeah, this ain't no
this
fucking
ain't
I
no
don't want
fucking
your
Texas.
shit-kicking Texas ways or whatever. But this ain't no fucking Texas. But that's Troy Donahue, who's a legitimate, but he's the actor. that
Inspiration for
The
Troy
Simpsons was
McClure.
based
He
on.
looks like Troy
Meaning he's
McClure.
that guy who would pop up saying, "You may know me from 3 obscure trashy films."
Yeah,
I don't know what he was doing in '88. Like I don't know if this was like if he's
Before or
working a lot.
after that?
I want to watch all his work
Yeah.
now because he sucks
Well, he
balls.
sucks.
It's awesome.
Delivering
And
lines.
when I looked it up, I was like, "Oh, he's the one professional."
Yeah, he's fucking
That's
terrible.
amazing because he's worse than some of the non-professionals.
Name in the credits. He's the 3rd name in the credits, which is only because he was a recognizable name to people at the time. Like there's no.
Yeah,
other
like
reason
here's
why
the
that
stars
character
and here's
would
the
be-
guy that's famous.
Most of this cast could have been having strokes during it because he talked like he forgot how words were supposed to sound.
Yeah, there was pauses that weren't like dramatic. It was like, oh yeah,
It was awesome, man.
yeah, it was pretty good. So they basically whip them verbally for like
No. That's just Hawkeye.
they whip Hawkeye
They're like,
verbally.
you're fucked up. Now we're gonna put you with our best police officer, our #1 guy, who turns out to be Charlie Wilson, who we saw earlier, who's threatened kids and he's already pulled a gun on. And
Why would they let him teach kids right after the bus?
Yeah.
Like he comes from a bus where they're planning to yell at him, but like, no, teach kids how to be cops first.
And do you call it a bust when it's a bank robbery? I don't know if that.
It's
that,
not a bus.
It's not
I'm
a
pretty
bus.
sure a bus is something you work on,
It's a
right?
collar, right?
Yeah.
Go
Is
in
that
on
a
somebody.
collar?
I feel like after you murder that many people, you get like a psychiatric evaluation.
Evaluation, like-
Yes, absolutely.
Hell yeah!
That's like a real.
Well, not in the 80s. It didn't matter. It was just like, whatever.
They'll
Go
be
fuck
good.
something. You'll be fine. Like,
Ronald, this is back when people littered and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is like when
You
people
could smoke in like a
Yeah.
church, man. It's like, no one cares.
Encouraged, actually.
Yeah,
Boy.
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. It
Just
doesn't matter.
smoking in
Doctors were smoking in hospitals. I mean, no one cared.
Yeah. Right after Hawkeye is assigned to this guy, he takes.
There's a really funny thing just because about how those angles were shot. When he's assigned to him, there's a part where they all say the word partner. Everyone in the room goes partner, 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 and it's different. It's shots of all of them, and you're like, what? And that's when you see Charlie Wilson walk over, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm your partner."
He's
And
like,
you're like, what the fuck was that? I love that.
Hawkeye says something about watermelon to him.
They're in the hallway.
man.
He's like,
Well, that's when they're officially like partners.
Yeah.
now, and they're walking down another hallway. It's like blue,
yeah.
and he says like, "We'll get some watermelon. You guys like that, right?" And he like decks him right in the stomach.
Yeah, he punches him in the gut.
I
And he's
mean,
like,
yeah,
man,
he
I
should.
don't
He
like
deserves
you.
to be fucking hit in the stomach. And then he says something equally as awful, doesn't he? Back to him.
He says, I don't remember what he says. I don't think
because then Hawkeye lays his ass out.
Yeah, he knocks him out.
And then 2 seconds later, they get in a car together and drive away.
Yeah, the music starts playing like everything's
so weird.
fine.
There's ADR there where he's like, man, he does like an Eddie Murphyism right there, where he's like, I slipped right then when you punched me, because otherwise I would have went down like that. That happens. He like once the car starts pulling out, it says that.
Yeah, somebody when they were editing realized we need something here.
Yeah,
because
they go from literally fighting to getting in a car. Something needs to be said. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
There's lots of
getting in a guy's. By the way, a guy's car.
Yeah, not his car. That dude's car. He still has.
You don't even need. You could have cut that line out.
Dude,
of the movie.
Hakamoto was basically like a homeless guy.
He was.
Like he was living in that guy's car. Because eventually we're gonna see his girlfriend. Who's like, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. It's like he's been living in that guy's car.
Yep.
Taking black belt tests and killing people.
On his ex-girlfriend or his seemingly, troubled
When does that happen?
Girlfriend. That's much later.
Much later.
That's much. Dude, we gotta keep going.
We gotta get through this.
Keep going, man. Okay, so the two of them. So then that's when we see the bad guys again. I say bad guys because I'm not really sure.
Yeah, bad guys.
Is that when we cut to the boardroom?
I'm not sure what they're doing. Is that?
Am I jumping too far ahead?
Because that was the biggest non sequitur of the movie.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
It's fine. It can happen now.
Is that the point where they kind of split off and see their respective girlfriends?
Yeah.
Is that the part?
No.
That's after
they're going to talk to the first person they know to talk to, who is the Donahue guy, the like old white man that they beat up in that room.
Oh yes,
that's the first thing they do is they take this old white guy who's like, I sell furniture, and they're like, hey, you sell this much furniture? He's like, I sell a lot of fucking furniture, and then they beat him up until he says one word, and then they switch who's beating him up, and fucking Wilson's pistol whipping him. Like he's already been beaten,
but the music's funny.
unconscious.
Right.
And they're laughing while each person is beating the shit out of the other person.
And from outside, you can hear it's constant beating and screaming.
There's no justification.
No time for questions or answers.
Because they get justification for beating.
They get his name. Wait. They get his name from when they.
Dirty cops.
We skipped over. We don't need to talk about it much. We skipped over them going to the corner.
Oh yeah, they went to the corner.
They get his name from the jacket.
Fuck, that's right. Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't understand any of these names. Then the one guy goes, well, how about this one? They picked some name out of a book. It could be wrong. Right. But they get this guy, bring him in, and beat the shit out of him. What you just said.
No. What's funny about that is what you said when they find the book. Charlie Wilson goes, none of these names mean anything to me. And we were like, well, it wouldn't. It's not your book.
Yeah.
Why would you know all these people? If you knew them, then you would know what they were involved in.
What kind of name is that?
Hey, I don't recognize this.
But then it's Hawkeye's just flipping through it, and then Charlie goes, oh, I know that guy. And you're like, but you just feel like this doesn't mean shit. Leave it.
But it also...
You only looked at one page and were like, I don't know.
But I'm saying, just saying that you know someone in a book that was in his jacket doesn't mean that guy's involved with this case.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't at all.
To beat the shit out of somebody,
but it doesn't matter.
Let's also not forget
let's
not forget the whimsical coroner.
He was not whimsical.
He was sleeping on a table.
That guy was barely alive.
That was fucking weird.
Who hides under a sheet.
I feel like normally the coroner kind of tells you the story about the body. He didn't do that. He was just in the room.
He just said, what a mess. And they looked at his face.
And he walked away.
He's like, all right, take a look at him, boys. I'll be outside.
Oh, that's right. That's when Hawkeye looks at the body and goes, Sammy Johnson. I grew up with him. And we were like, what?
And then it zooms in on him like being like, oh, like he's like, I am sad.
Yeah.
You know,
he's just squinting.
Thanks to the dynamic acting.
Not
of
even.
George
His
Chung.
eyes are closed.
His face is so swollen.
It is.
His skin is so perfectly smooth.
It's like he just had like
oily.
It looks like he just had tattoos removed. You know, like his skin is so just tender.
That's crazy. It looks like he had some
Gold Bond or something. I don't know.
It's like he had an allergic reaction or something.
I was about to say to the makeup, and they only had one day, so they were
he just
He ate peanuts or something.
Well, we're filming today, so let's do it.
I mean, all right. This fucking sounds. He's Asian, and naturally his eyes are, but it's the brightness. It's the brightness of the scene also.
Yeah,
and then he has like a swollen overlook. So in general.
And he's not fat. It's just
we did not see his pupils
at any point.
At any point. In the
no,
movie.
he's really he's puffy.
He's just a puffy guy.
He needs some cucumbers.
I'm just saying
on his eyes.
Let's just say he's a remarkably
all these things-
inexpressive actor.
These things coupled together created a very puffy look to him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
No, no.
his head
He had
was
very
puffy.
pursed lips. I mean, he looked just
He had
full.
very full lips. That's just another thing I noticed. Not
Shit
to
was
be
gonna
weird.
break out of his face if he
Yeah.
pushed his head too hard.
And he chooses to interact.
He looked
Like,
like
ooh, should come out of it because it's not real. Like,
like,
ooh,
yeah.
he looked like
later
one of
pops
those
out.
babies when they have like that
Cherub syndrome. Is that what
when they
you're-
have like that alligator skin with red lips. What is that called?
I don't know, but that
Good
shit's
God.
terrifying.
You know what I'm talking about?
Where they basically look like aliens.
Yeah, they look like
baby.
alien babies.
They're like gel
All
monsters.
right, I don't know
They
if
look
it
really
was.
creepy. They feel like they look like they're covered in like goopy pods of
He
stuff,
looked-
and you're like horrified.
Everything was tight and shiny and just irritated skin. You know,
Yeah.
Like
he
an
needed a
alien
cream
baby.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there was some inhaler he wasn't getting.
Is it
day.
after this scene where they're like jogging, where they go for a jog?
Oh
He's
yeah.
like, we gotta get
We gotta
lunch.
go
They
for
get
jog-
a name from that guy.
They get in from the guy, and then they're like, "We got to go work out." And they both are totally changed in the jogging clothes.
and it
And
cuts to them
and they're
instantly, and Hawkeye's like, "Man, this sucks."
and
Yeah,
somebody's
the black
following
belt
us.
is tapped out. you
Yeah,
know.
the black belt is totally tapped out. Yeah, and there's this weird, like, super dad looking. Like, everybody
He
looks
looks
so
like a
much
dad.
like a dad. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's, like, hiding behind stuff, but then
Yeah.
running across the street. It's, like, crazy.
They're like, "Oh,
obvious.
I think someone's following us." And it's a guy that's like obviously running down the street.
Yeah.
Hide behind the car.
They hide behind
Oh,
like
man.
this wall, and this guy walks in. They start punching him relentlessly.
One at a time. They just.
Yeah,
He
punching.
does like
He
a
drop kicks him. His
360.
feet
That's a
hits
fucking
him.
roundhouse. Unnecessary roundhouse kick. This is one of many roundhouse
They
kicks.
haven't said who are you
No.
or
You're suggesting
anything.
that roundhouse kick was uncalled for.
Uncalled for.
Absolutely. it was.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think they hit
I
him.
agree with you. You're right.
They
He
hit
was
this
already
guy's
beaten
head
up.
enough. They
No.
could have killed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
two fucking martial arts experts, and they hit him upwards of like
Yeah.
10 to 12 times.
And he hasn't fallen once.
No, he's still standing, and they go, he's like, I'm trying to do a story on cops.
You're the guy that involved in the bank
Yeah,
robbery.
he's like, oh, take our picture.
And he's like,
You should have a concussion, or like
dead.
one of your eyeballs doesn't work anymore, or something. They fucking hit you. That guy spun around and kicked you in the face. Come on.
It's all in a day's work for Las Vegas's finest cop.
You're like a
Yeah.
48-year-old photographer, for Christ's sake.
I like that too. He like while taking the pictures, he was like dazed. Like,
Yeah.
like the guy was like trying to act like he had been hit in the head so many times. But it was like cartoonish.
Yeah,
But
no.
they might as well put birds
He was
flying around his head or
brutalized.
something.
He should be in a hospital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was brain damaged. That scene.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. So that scene didn't really need to happen
Absolutely
At
didn't
all.
need to
at
happen.
all. And then
There's a lot of those.
Is that when it cuts? I'm pretty sure that's the cut to the boardroom with all the
All
Asian people.
Japanese
Yeah.
guys, yes.
With the giant shirtless man with like a bow staff or something.
I think it was like a sword because
It was a sword.
Was it a
sheath,
sword?
yeah.
I could tell.
He takes it out of the sheath like a little bit. And
Yeah,
then-
he's like fidgeting.
yeah.
But they're having a it's a
It's
bunch
a
of
Japanese
Asian
board
it's like
meeting
yeah,
in a room with
Yakuza
mirrors and
Yeah.
a shirtless
with
white
no
man.
subtitles
No
and all in
subtitles.
No subtitles.
Japanese.
All
It's about a
Japanese,
minute and a half
and then the
long.
scene ends. Nope.
Your
Nope.
face is the best.
I was so
Here,
pissed.
Ronald, you were just like what? Like that's so nothing.
There was
No
no
context
development.
whatsoever.
non
No.
sequitur.
Nothing.
Yeah. it's-
Nothing. They were just
You don't
speaking.
find out who it is until
Subtitles might have helped.
they beat
Yeah.
up that guy. He tells them about Cesario or whatever,
Yeah.
or Cesarius or Cesario or whatever.
Susudio.
They tell him about him, and they go to talk to him, and this is when they break into his home, assumedly, which is in a hotel, fire their firearms like 3 to 4 times, destroy like
At his
thousands of
face,
dollars
yeah.
of art. And then that's right. And then get nothing out of it except him
Nothing.
going, maybe you,
You know,
should
the
talk to
vase is the
Sakura.
go-to nice thing if you're
Yeah.
gonna have something.
Yeah, but
get
he had
damaged.
like 4 or 5
Yeah.
vases. And
Oh, he
he's-
had tons of vases.
and it's always
Yeah.
$10,000. I feel
Yeah.
like they always
Yeah.
say it's $10,000.
Man, that was a $10,000 vase.
well,
That was a
Trading
$10,000
Places,
vase.
it was like 50,
actually
right?
only
really was.
So I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
vase in Trading Places was like 50.
Dude.
So there
The
you go.
introduction of
They had
this
a bigger budget
character.
on that film.
Right, yeah,
the
better
introduction
vase
of that guy.
technology.
The introduction of this guy is okay. So you have to understand, for every race in this movie,
There's a stereotype.
there's a stereotype.
Oh,
This guy
terribly.
is a fucking spaghetti bowl eating, slick back hair wearing,
Oh yeah.
New Jersey accent heaven.
The fact that they
New
didn't
Jersey.
have a spaghetti eating scene, I'm surprised, honestly.
It shows
Yeah.
such restraint. Yeah.
He actually
They like were just like, well, we gotta cut it. No, leave it in. They were like always wrestling with
Yeah.
it. Should leave it in or not?
There's actually a scene where he goes, "Get the fuck out of here!
Forget about it.
Get
Hey.
the fuck out of here!"
Oh man, there's a scene where his mom comes out and hits him with a wooden spoon. And stuff.
You boys are being too loud out of here.
I was doing your business in the house.
Mama. Like, it was so good. That guy could barely act though, which was the best part. He was doing the accent, but his face was just like autism intensity kind of shit. It was like,
he looked
like
like
he was staring hate at things, but
he
it
had
also
like
was
that
empty.
80s hair helmet too,
Oh,
that
it
like
was
Frankie
bad. Yeah, it was
Avalon
just
almost hair,
I
like
like it.
80s
No, I
bar
totally thought-
rapist type of
Yeah.
look. You know what I mean? He just looked skeevy.
Totally Frankie Avalon, but he made the same choice that George Chung did, which is to underplay for some reason.
You're right.
And he had a gi on. You forgot to tell. He had a
He
fucking
almost
gi.
always just
He had a
about to
gi
fuck
on.
or been fucking
Or
women. Honestly, until the end of the movie, until he's like walking around in a suit, he's just
Well, no,
in a
he showed
gi
up
with
at-
women.
He showed up in like a Matrix outfit in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Wearing
Oh, that's
those
right. He had the
glasses.
glasses
Yeah.
on at the beginning.
Wearing
But
the
in the
Doc
middle of
Brown
the-
glasses.
But
No,
for the middle of the movie, he's just in a gi with
He's
those
just in
two
a gi with his
sluts.
chest out the whole time.
Yeah, with those two weird-looking ladies.
Yeah,
Dude, we saw their titties for no reason. It was the most gratuitous tit
Yeah.
shot of all time.
Did that
Also,
happen
if
then?
that's really how you're going to stage a threesome. I would dim the lights a little bit. That was the grossest lighting ever
Yeah.
for like a threesome.
And then his cronies come in and like kind of
One just sits down, is like staring
And
at
that
him.
shot was so creepy because he's in shadow in the foreground. It looks like he's ready to pull it out.
It's like that scene in True Lies with Schwarzenegger where he's like in the background, like,
Like,
doing some.
but why would you sit on the bed that this
I
man's
know,
about to
and
fuck
talk-
two people in while you're trying to talk business? Why would you sit on the bed so casually?
I'm pretty sure
He's
that
just like,
those
let me cross my legs.
Matt,
like
those
this
guys
guy.
do not view those women as people.
These
These are horrible human beings.
Well,
This
this
is
is
the
very
80s.
dealers,
Yeah.
you're
Serious
right.
sends the guy who sits on the bed out. He's like, "You go," and then he says, "And take him with you," which is like answering the question we had, which is,
Was he just gonna
would this guy hang out?
He was
Yes.
just gonna sit
Apparently
there
he
and
would.
watch.
Maybe
The
he has
answer is
before.
yes.
Can you
He's
make
like,
sure he
"Get him
goes?
outta
Because
here."
I
Yeah.
see him through the keyhole every
We know.
time.
We all know he loves looking. Okay, he's a watcher.
Door open a crack on his way out and kind of just peers around.
Yeah.
Just for safety reasons. Safety reasons.
Okay, but is that scene? Is that where that happens? I don't know.
Christ, dude. Who
That
knows?
middle's so fuzzy.
You know what? I
No,
think
no.
you could have taken all the scenes in the middle of this movie and
jumbled them
rearranged
up.
them, and it would
Yeah.
not matter.
Well, no.
Really.
Okay, let's.
There's the woman. We have to talk about. He goes
Yes.
to see Sam Johnson's wife or girlfriend or whatever, and she's like, I don't know nothing. All he does is write. He just writes
He
stuff.
writes screenplays.
Yeah.
Yeah, because later he explains that like Yakamoto's like, yeah, he used to write all these weird screenplays.
That's a weird thing to
That was-
add. It
but-
just
but
didn't
that-
add
He
anything.
said he was weird.
He was
because
weird
just
and he wrote screenplays. That reminds. This is so weird. I was watching a documentary about Hitler, and somebody said, "Okay, so listen." So they're like, Hitler was a very weird man. He had a love for the macabre. He loved circuses. He was very weird. Circuses. I'm like, is that what is weird? Is
Is that weird? Is writing scripts?
Writing
yeah,
scripts
it's
weird?
not that weird. Yeah.
That's so fucking weird that they would choose those things to. There were
To
probably
show
a
how
million things
weird
that
he
did.
is.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Slightly weird that Hitler went to the circus.
that's slightly.
It's slightly weird. Only because
Slight.
it's him. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like him in the crowd. And
Right,
like,
right.
Yes, elephant! Bring it on! Bring it on!
You know, there's something weird about Hitler.
That's the only thing that would make it weird.
Yeah.
Slightly weird.
If he was too intense in the crowd, it was weird. But otherwise, it's the circus.
You know, weird thing about Hitler, loved sandwiches.
What a
So weird.
fucking asshole.
So
It's
weird.
a good thing to put on psychology test. Do you love sandwiches? You have tendencies to
Oh,
be
wait
a
minute, I
fucking
like sandwiches.
antichrist.
Oh, no.
All right. I don't know where it is, but I want to get to like the two of them. I think that's when after they beat up the martial arts school. I think.
Oh man.
Don't they go
Yes,
to?
when he
Yeah.
goes to tell them to talk to
When do they see
Sakura,
their
just
women?
go
When do they go to see their women? Before.
after the fight.
Okay, so
Right after.
All right, everyone, everything has happened in one
Yes,
day.
because it's
Everything we
after the
talked
boardroom
about.
This is
Yeah.
a long
They cut-
day.
It's after the boardroom scene that they cut them going into the school to beat up the students.
the school,
Daylight.
like we all act like
Daylight.
they're
No, but it
supposed
looks
to
like
be
the
in
outside
school.
window
No,
would be
the
a
boardroom
restaurant.
scene happens before Cesario tells them about Sakura, so that's
Okay.
why it was so like, what the fuck
Fuck
is
is
this?
going
Because
on, yeah.
Why aren't there Japanese people in the movie?
All of
And then
a
he
sudden.
goes, go talk to the Yakuza. And then you're like, okay.
All right.
It still doesn't explain why there's a 8-foot tall white man in the room, but whatever.
It doesn't matter. It's so confusing of who's lackeys or who's lackeys.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all just giant beefy.
because the Italian
men.
guy didn't have like Italian lackeys. He just had
No.
like thugs.
Yeah.
And
They all look like Teamsters. You know?
and the Japanese guy just had white thugs. They were like they just had
Yeah.
thugs.
I gotta tell you.
It was like WWF was like on strike, and they all just were in the
Nothing.
Seeing
movie.
so many action movies and seeing black thugs being like the point of like emphasis, it was very weird to see white thugs. It was
All
very
white
like
thugs.
Yeah.
low level thugs that were like grimy
and
white.
this movie
people.
was trying to move. It's trying to move shit
I
forward,
like
man.
it. Okay, so
I mean,
that
Hakamoto was like
exactly.
Hakamoto was like
We
the
gotta
Chuck
talk
Norris.
about him. We have to talk about this whole gimmick that they had going on with him, like
The fact
so he's
that
from
he
Texas,
was like he's the Texas
Asian
white
Texas
guy, but he's
Yeah.
Asian.
So he doesn't really understand anything Asian. Anything Asian that
he's
comes up in a
from-
conversation, aside from
Because
his
he's from
black belt
Texas.
skills. Aside from his black belt skills, don't make any sense to him.
Well, the
Sushi
fact that you
doesn't
could
make-
be,
wait, we have
the
to talk
fact
about
that
it
you
because
could be a black belt and not
At the beginning of the movie,
Not
he
know what a
explained
dojo
that
is?
he learned
Oh,
karate.
right.
He learned karate from an ex-con rapist who used to rape people who couldn't beat him in fights at a YMCA.
But-
that's where he learned how to fight. This Asian guy from Texas. Who
He has
doesn't
a black
understand
belt.
honor and
He
shit.
does tell us that.
Yeah, he says that at the
does,
beginning.
yeah.
I forgot about that. That's amazing.
He has a black belt, but he doesn't know what a dojo is.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
What's a
sushi.
dojo again?
it's a
It's a place where
karate
people
school.
fight.
Yeah.
I thought it said it was a karate school or something. It's a school for karate.
Yeah.
That's what it was. What's a dojo? It's a school for
God.
Yeah,
karate.
this movie's
Yeah, how would you
good.
not know what a dojo is if you retained a
Yeah,
black
You can
belt?
beat up 8 people at once who are
You don't know what a
black belts.
dojo is?
How could you have
And
a
then
black
we-
belt and get winded when you're running around the block?
Yeah.
I don't buy this George
Yeah.
Chung.
Yeah.
It's really confusing. And then you have the whole dichotomy of him versus the Eddie Murphy guy,
Yeah.
who's
They're
steeped.
both racist to each
but he-
other.
But he's steeped in like Asian culture,
Yeah.
teaching the Asian guy who's from Texas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who
About
was trained
sushi.
by a rapist. It's like, what
Dude,
the
rapists
fuck?
don't take you out for sushi afterwards. You're
Yeah,
lucky to get
it's
a cold
nuts.
bread with butter on it, man.
In a better movie, it's like a really
not-
ingenious
Yeah.
convention, but it's not.
Not in this
not
one.
here. It doesn't work, which kind of makes it amazing because
Yes.
you
So
know.
do you think if anyone asked George Chung to describe the lead character in this film, he would say, "Okay, he was trained by a rapist."
okay, who's trained by a
He was
rapist.
trained by rapists how to kill
What?
people.
First things first.
Yeah.
How
He's
did
trained by a
How
rapist.
to completely like humiliate a human being in physical combat. Like, ugh. I
God
want
damn
the
it.
prequel. Can we make a prequel to this movie that's
I would love
about the guy in the YMCA raping people and training Hawkeye?
No.
Where it ends
No,
where-
I don't want to
No,
make
dude,
that.
this movie, he says that his like his guy was like on this deathbed. It could have been the prequel. Would be he finds out he's been raping everyone, and Hawkeye has to take him down.
Didn't he say
and
his
he
name
fucking
was
like
Big
almost
Joe
kills him
or
in
something?
hand-to-hand combat
What?
over raping children in a
He said
YMCA.
his name was Big Joe or something too. He says like,
Big Joe.
Which sounds like a
Joe, yeah,
rapist.
right, exactly.
He does sound
That's
like a
the
rape.
prequel.
Taught him kung raping. the worst
Jesus
form
God.
of kung fu.
So they show up at this dojo, right? It was a dojo or
Yeah.
something that was the bad guy's dojo training.
it looked like
was
a-
he training like Japanese ninja thugs? Like what
almost-
the fuck was it?
It almost looked like a 4-car garage with a
It-
dojo lid on it. Like,
It looked like an IHOP.
yeah, it looked weird,
Dojo or an
man.
IHOP.
And
That's
they
one of the
show
two.
up and they're like the guy that has like the spike haircut.
he had the weird.
This
his
says
right-hand
something.
man.
I forget the exchange, but all it turns out is
He's
them
like,
showing off.
these are Yakamoto's
Best.
best people.
They beat
and they're
the
like,
shit
they don't
out
look
of
so good. And then
They
they,
wipe
kick
the
the shit
floor.
out of him in this weird montage.
And that guy didn't react to that at all.
No.
This movie is full of just underreacting to everything.
Yeah, well,
Oh wow.
I guess you could beat up all our best students. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, which is something that
I
if you
wanted them
know
to open
that
fire on the guys on the ground in that scene.
Oh, yeah,
after
after
they
the-
knocked all the students.
Yo,
out, I
he
wanted
shut
them to
up.
they
just, like,
clip all in their fucking head.
Why not?
Bam, 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 bam.
Why not? Who cares? I was like, wait,
They're not reporting back
Listen,
to anyone.
anything, like, the chief
They've been
doesn't
shooting
know.
up hotels all afternoon, and now they're just like kicking the shit out of innocent people, as far as you can tell.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Vegas' best cop, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
you
number
would think
one
that-
officer.
They-
He'd be like, "We're fucking up all over the place."
Yeah. Nothing.
Hawkeye, you dick.
You son of a bitch.
You stupid
So the
idiot.
bad guys know that these guys fucking can. They're great. They can kill like any. They can
Yeah.
beat the shit out of anyone. Yet there's so many opportunities left in the movie for them to just kill them straight up. They don't.
They don't kill them.
They don't kill them. Like, they could literally take our whole operation down. Whatever.
There's the first time right after that when they beat up all those people before they go to like. Actually, it's before they go to their girlfriends. They go meet us at this restaurant, and then it shows Yakamoto driving in the car, and you can see Vegas out the window because that was
right.
I don't know.
But wait, let's talk
where
about
they filmed everything else was nowhere near.
We gotta move forward. We gotta move forward. So they go see their girlfriends.
No, not yet. They go to meet Yakamoto first, and that's where it's like they're eating dinner, and they come in and try to like tough talk them, and they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
they're just like, who gives?
Why is it so easy to infiltrate each boss's?
Because it's a hotel. Here's the thing. Does the movie is it the movie saying that they just live in a nice hotel? Because that's feasible.
I think
that a bad guy would have a really nice suite at a hotel.
Own the restaurant, so he told him meet me at your restaurant because they looked awfully comfortable at that table.
Yeah,
I'm just assuming because the whole thing's racist that they would be like, the Japanese people own a Chinese
gotta
food
own a
restaurant.
Chinese
They're all
food
just
Japanese
Asian.
food.
No, it wouldn't. No, it would be a Chinese food restaurant.
I mean that shit. Lethal Weapon 4 has that. I mean,
this movie's so ignorant.
They didn't let go of that
It would
racist
be
shit.
a Chinese food restaurant owned by the fucking Yakuza, and you're like, what? Oh,
that's so obvious. That's so great.
It's a Korean barbecue place. Like, what's happening?
And then there's the whole hotel thing. Like,
where the fuck
the
does
Italian guy
Cicero
lives in a hotel? Or is that like a man? Were we supposed to think it's mansion with exit signs?
Dude, I think they shot it ambiguously to leave it open. I honestly think they were doing that low budget thing of just
not defining it.
But it does make sense. Everything totally looks like a cheap hotel room.
Yeah.
Yes. Most of this was filmed in a hotel and it's parking.
And we could talk. We're not. Let's not.
And maybe even the diner attached to the hotel. Maybe they just
Yeah, it's just all one location.
They went for continental breakfast. We're like, this sort of looks like an office.
We could talk all day too about the continuity and fighting in that scene.
Yeah.
It's
we
like,
don't have the time for it.
We don't have the time for it. The only thing I want to say is there's this shot of them with a Steadicam following Yakamoto holding a gun all the way down a spiral staircase, and it goes on for maybe 5 times longer than it would ever go on.
All right, let's try to get there as fast as possible. Where are we?
We get the girlfriends. We're at the girlfriends.
They go to their girlfriends.
Yeah.
That's when Yakamoto's like,
I've been here for 2 weeks.
I don't understand how she's understood what he said because he was mumbling into a pillow.
Yeah, he's like, what? He's like, he comes in, he lays down like he lives there.
Yeah.
You've been here for 2 weeks. Fuck you. She's just like, whatever. I'm
She's
leaving.
like, I want you to be here more often. And then he goes, whatever. And then she goes, well, now I want you to leave. And he's like, but you just said you wanted me here all the time. She's like, just get out.
Then he goes to a gay bar named Cocktails. Dude,
the
fucking logo is a cum stain. It says Cocktail.
Under it, 2 men rubbing each other.
No, rubbing each other's jackets.
Hawkeye doesn't understand homosexuality.
He does not understand
Which
homosexuality.
is weird because you'd think Texas, they'd be like, fucking hate gay people.
Dude, you know how many people, like gay people in Texas, he probably beat up?
So many.
There's no way he's not like a Republican conservative asshole.
Hell no. He's an Asian American.
He roundhouse kicked the shit out of a lot of those.
I expected him to beat out some gay guys.
I was actually kind of surprised that whole scene didn't end with it. Because maybe that's why it got cut off. Remember? Because he goes inside and he talks to these gay guys who hit on him. And then
he basically says, I fuck men. And he doesn't realize it, which was just like,
weird.
What? Come on.
But then, like, the gay guy's like, he says, like, who do you have to fuck to get a drink? And it cuts the line off. Maybe that's because when...
Around hit, yeah.
Right.
Who do you got fucking get a drink?
Hakamoto maybe walks back in that frame and starts beating the shit out of him because he realizes what they were doing. They cut that out. Like, maybe we don't need this. That's where we draw the line.
But they included that scene was pointless.
Then he goes back to his.
I think it was there to be funny.
House?
I think they were trying to be like, we love this character. Let's just watch him.
Man,
Let's watch him interact.
Explore the space.
I love Police Academy and the Blue Oyster bit. Like, we gotta do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So then he goes back to his personal bed, wherever that is.
Whatever.
That has an Indiana Jones poster.
On the wall.
His personal hotel room, apparently.
Yeah, that has an Indiana Jones poster. And he calls up a bunch of women to see if they want to fuck.
And
None of them
then-
answer, and then he's like, "Well, I guess I should do some police
I
work."
should get back to work. I haven't slept. This whole movie's been taking place in a day. Go to sleep, motherfucker. God damn it.
So he calls up, what's his name?
He calls
Who's
up Charlie,
currently
who's fucking his
a
girlfriend.
woman.
Totally shits on the nice night that Wilson is having.
Yeah,
It's like, fuck that. No, you gotta come with me.
We gotta do this because I'm not getting fucked.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sit here while you're enjoying your night.
He says your hard on can wait.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, fuck you.
You were trying to get laid all night.
You homeless bitch. Anyway.
Nomad bitch.
Pull up sticks and get out of here, Hawkeye. You live on the plains. Like you think she's Native American. Anyway. What happens there? That's when they go back to the woman's house.
It gets fuzzy,
Who
man.
right
It
before
gets
all right, so
fuzzy.
when they decide to go to the woman's house, it shows her get kidnapped by the giant white man.
Yeah.
That works for the Yakuza. And then
Let's just call him Henchman.
The shirtless. Just call him shirtless. He literally takes his shirt off in one scene just for no
Well,
reason.
he's not wearing a shirt in one scene. Then he's wearing a little tight T-shirt with the sleeves rolled up
Right.
in another scene.
And then he
we
takes
see him
it-
like come back from
yeah.
doing something, and he whips his shirt off like back in the hideout.
Like
with
I'm
the
at
boys.
work.
Yeah, all right.
I'm at work again, so let me just take
Yeah, that's my
Just me and the
fighting.
boys. Might as well let them see the show.
He
Yeah.
kidnaps her. They show up at the house, find a key to a locker, and then before that, also Cicero is like sends two people to kidnap that woman too to try to figure out where Sam. So that's when we find out Sam, the guy who's dead and matters, but no one addresses for the whole movie, hid the money that he was going to buy that cocaine with at the beginning of the movie. He didn't have any money.
Yeah.
That's how you find that out, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a plot in this movie.
Yeah.
I think.
And that's the
You gotta
Yeah.
look for it. You gotta really scrape.
Let's
to
call
get
it a
down to
needlessly complex plot for this kind of movie.
It's so complex.
Yeah.
it
That's
could
where you
just be a
find that
revenge
shit out.
I
story.
feel like they could have explained easier that during the transaction that occurred at the beginning of the movie, he finagled the money and he left with it somehow.
No, he gets
He
killed
stole
right
it.
there.
He stole the
You
money
just have
before
to
that.
assume the briefcase was empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all they had to do was have. See, that's why this is so fucked up. They just killed him outright. We're
Yeah.
like, fuck it. We'll keep the money and the drugs.
They asked no questions.
Right? Then, when the briefcase was empty, that's when Cicero and Yakuza meet up, and he's like, hey, man, your guy had no money on him. He was trying to fucking double cross us, so we killed him.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is what happened. And
Yeah,
could
right.
have happened. You didn't need to shoot him outright, because the second you opened the briefcase, it was empty. You could have done it, and it would have been fine.
Because
It was, like you said, it's so needlessly
It's weird.
complicated. Like, oh, we double crossed him, but he double crossed us, but he doesn't know, so we can trick him. It's like,
And after that
it doesn't
conversation,
matter.
and after they had that conversation where they find out that they were trying to double cross each other, they decide to work together.
Yeah.
Because they used to work together too. That's
they
like
split
backstory. They're
off.
like, hey, you
3
work
months
together.
Remember the old times when
Yeah.
we used to work together?
Also, that transaction would have been so much better. Do you remember how they exchanged the stuff? They exchanged it and they said back up,
Yeah.
which was weird. So they couldn't have seen that the money wasn't real.
in there?
Well,
They-
he didn't even
in there,
open
in
it.
there.
Like, yeah, he
Oh,
just said,
shit.
wow.
All right.
Holy
we gotta
shit.
go. Yeah, we gotta get to the end. Let's get to the fucking end right
Where
now.
are we?
Like, soon.
So that's when
I mean,
they're
we're
at the house,
almost
they find
there,
the,
yeah.
they find the key. That's when the guy with the M16 like sneaks up on them, even though the gun's about as long
Oh yeah,
as
because they're in
guy's
that
body.
like suburban.
They're
like,
in her house. They're in
her
their
house.
kitchen when they
yeah,
find the
yeah.
key.
Well, another time, which would have been great to kill them, that
Yep.
they just bump them on the head and then walk out.
He hits him with the butt of the gun.
Yeah,
takes
these
the
people
key,
need to
mind
die.
you.
Yeah.
This is what I said later, because he takes the key and goes back to Cicero and is like, I got a key to something. And he smacks him in the head a bunch because he's
like,
Italian.
and he says specifically,
Hey,
"Give me a
what
key.
I gotta
Do
do?"
nothing does me no
yeah,
good.
we don't know what it is.
I'm a warrior. I'm
I'm
gonna win."
I'm making a sauce
Yeah.
out of this key. What is the point? And then
Like no, he says directly that he doesn't know
Yeah, no one
where
knows what it's
or
for.
what this is for.
Yeah.
which is insane considering what happens.
Yeah.
Because okay, so they have the woman. They're like torturing her, trying to figure out where the money is, and she doesn't know because she
And
everything
Everything
is
is
know.
so
She's just not telling him.
badly staged.
She got
It's-
beaten
it's
up earlier,
horrific.
and now she's getting attacked with a sword.
Yeah, she
Well,
gets
no,
cut
that
with
was
the
earlier.
sword.
She got because she
Are
had
you
like
gonna
blood
fast
down her
forward through
neck
this
from
shit?
I
something.
guess her chest gets cut. I don't really
It
don't
was
understand.
like a cut here because they kept
Yeah.
they kept resetting the
Oh,
blood.
that's when,
You could
that's
tell
when
every time
Spiky
the
Hair punches
location
her,
changed.
Yeah,
punches
yeah,
her in
yeah.
the face, right?
Yeah, she's like getting tortured and she won't give up any information. They go to save her without the key. They go to save her and they do, Where they save her from?
They save her from his fortress or whatever
Oh
the
yeah,
fuck
they
it
just
is.
walk into the room where they are.
They
They're
are.
like talking. It's like
They get her back, and it basically turns into them chasing. They take her. They have this long conversation on the strip in a car. Remember, because I said we finally see Las Vegas, but it's from the inside of a car.
And he's really driving, which makes it a little.
Well, yeah, that's
totally
what
driving
Hakamoto's
a car.
like saying his lines. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Wait,
And
we can't skip over them leaving the building with her, because when they leave the room with her, you're just like, you could have killed everyone in that room right then and there and been done with it. But they're running away from them and I guess you think because they have guns, which they turn out to have. But that's when you watch them run down the stairs forever. That was when you watch them run down the stairs forever. And then when they get to the bottom of the stairs, it's just a guy. You can't tell if he was like
he looks like a tourist in a hotel,
you, though,
and he just gets kicked in the fucking face.
He was kind of running up the stairs, though, so it made me think maybe he was like a guard, because he's kind of dashing up the stairs.
But he was not.
But he was. You gotta admit,
it
he was
impossible
dressed.
to tell the context of him being on those stairs.
He was dressed
but
like
he
a tourist.
definitely got kicked in
He had
the
like a ball cap
face.
and a tracksuit.
I mean,
with a very puffy sports jacket. It looked like he just was trying to piss. Like he was like, I gotta piss.
Gotta get up there.
Ugh.
Fucking Charlie Wilson just kicks him right in the
flattened by the other guy.
face.
And then he goes up the other half, and then here comes George Chun.
And he punches him.
Yeah.
And they fuck him up.
Hawkeye.
And that's when
that's when they could have
Cicero-
ended this whole fucking thing.
So yeah, Cicero and his dude like show up and they have an Uzi. And for some reason, once again, like the shotgun like bank thing, like they're way too close to each other for there to be like a standoff. Someone just needs to pull a trigger. Like
Someone,
it's like,
just kill somebody.
They give up. They
not
give up.
tense.
The guy with the Uzi gives up.
Yeah.
His,
They put their weapons down, but then they keep running.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no
you
sense.
just disarmed them, didn't take the weapons, didn't murder them, and are now running from people you
You're
disarmed.
police.
You're the police.
Arrest them.
or
Jesus.
call back up.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything. Yeah.
Well, they did call for backup, and the lieutenant was like, he gives the mayor a bunch of money. So you're supposed to think, like, the mayor's corrupt too, I guess?
Yeah.
Yikes.
You're supposed to think help's not coming.
So
They
So they
have
get her, they have the conversation
It's a
in
long
the car.
exposition conversation where she
she
just tells the
explains-
story of what
yeah.
happened. It's not
They
really.
needed money. They were in hard times. He started selling drugs, and it was
Right.
more than they got. And blah,
Boy,
blah,
exposition,
blah.
man. This movie has so many scenes. I forget who pointed it out, but where something
me.
happens. And
Yeah.
then, like, shortly after that, you get the long-winded explanation of what just
Yeah,
happened.
it's not exposition
why did
before
I-
to give
Yeah.
reason to what's happening. It's like, this happened because
of
of this. This is what's going on.
It's post-position is what it is.
Post,
Yes.
exactly. It was post position. So this leads up to the fight in the street, right?
This is where she tells them. She tells them
What the
where the
keys-
locker is
Yeah.
and what airline
Right.
thing.
Which is the only time anyone would have known because she's the only person that knows what this locker
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
And the bad guys have already stated that they don't know where it is and they have no idea how to tell.
Like he got
She tells
angry
them
that he didn't
They
know.
just stole her from him.
Yeah.
And they drive directly to it and they're already like
They're
right behind
chasing them.
Right
They show
there.
up
Right
in
behind
the
them.
Right
building chasing
And also,
them.
they don't have the fucking key, and Yakamoto just runs up and goes, "Gip, bip, up, hey, I got the bag of money." You're like, they knocked you out and took the key.
Yeah, like
What did
why?
you open that with? Did he lock it? No, it was too fast for that.
Not to mention, you could have just had him do like a kick or something to break the
Like he
door.
could have went,
You know,
I
like-
don't know, to
Yeah.
an attendant and said, "I'm a police officer and there's fucking drug money in a goddamn locker. Give me a key." Like, did that happen?
No.
No.
They didn't even show the locker. If you paid attention, they didn't even show the locker open. They
Yeah,
just
he
showed
went up and
him
opened it.
fumbling with the bag, and then
You know, you're right.
it was weird. That was not even.
He
the
could have
door
pulled
open.
it out of his jacket.
Yeah.
It
No,
wasn't like, I
they
have
just showed the
bag.
bag. You're right.
Yeah, they just showed his. They just showed
Like it
his
was
back to
sitting
the locker.
into the
Yeah, they showed his
floor.
back to the. You would assume that it would open, but it was just his back to the locker, and he's just fumbling through it and ran,
I think
which
you're
is
right.
very weird.
It's also one of those things where you can
That's
picture
probably
them
when they were
on
like,
set
"Oh, we
saying,
forgot."
Did
Yeah,
we
we
get it?
forgot
He's
a
like,
lot.
yeah, we
They
got
didn't
it.
have
Move
the
on,
key.
move on, guys. We got to shoot the
Yeah.
scene. You know, like
No, this,
Well, you pointed- you-
know what? You just solidified it. This movie was filmed in a row.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's a part when they fight the guys in the dojo and it's light outside, and then they fight people in the dojo, and in movie time it takes 10 minutes. And when they leave,
But
it's
yeah,
dark.
it's probably
so
like 10
clearly
hours.
they filmed the outside part, fought those guys for a couple hours to get the shots they needed, and then left. And then of that, they're
Yeah.
like, those guys physically had that key and were in a different building. They were in that hotel and they drove to the airport and they were like, we actually don't have the key.
Fuck.
And
shit.
And to
we
point out
only have
something-
an hour before we got to get back.
And with that, like
Oh my
with that
God.
sentiment too, point something you said, John, where you're like how fast it was shot, like how you said, like
No, they
the end location is like this really beautiful location. It's shot like shit,
Yeah.
but like in a better movie, it would look awesome.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
obvious they're rushing so much to finish or shooting a location they
I
maybe
think it was
didn't
at
even
the
have
baggage
permission
claim
for.
when we pointed that
The
out.
baggage claim was an awesome shot.
I
It
think
could
they
have
didn't
been
have
great.
permission because the lighting was so bad. You
It
could tell they
was.
didn't even try.
No, it
Like,
was just
they didn't-
available light.
Yeah,
It was
they
just
did not
how it
bring
was
a
lit.
lighting guy or anything. So it was probably like we're just gonna go,
Just go,
casually
just
go.
go,
into the-
hit go. It doesn't matter.
Fucking
Yeah, the
shot
bag
gorilla
is
style.
outside of the fucking locker.
So
Go.
they get the bag, and the bad guys are there for whatever reason. One of them pulls out a
figured
gun.
it out,
They're
whatever.
going down an escalator standing. They're not walking down the steps or rushing down the steps of the other.
Oh, it's the
They're all
best.
just standing on it. And the guy pulls out a gun, fires once,
Yeah,
kills
that's
her.
what-
He could kill all three of them.
They
Like,
all
every
could be
time-
They're right
killed
beside
right
each
now.
other.
If he lined it up right, he could have killed all three of them with
possibly.
one shot. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, because I said, what do you have, one bullet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a fucking mob. Like, you guys should be raining bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, just one.
Bam.
Which
Oh.
kills her.
They
Gives,
also, it acted like them being on an escalator was like them getting on a boat right before it left. Where they
Or
like
a rocket
fuck
to
her on
the moon
escalator,
or something.
We'll shoot them and then stand there and watch them as they still make it to the bottom. Pick up her dead body, put it in a car, and still leave the building before them.
Yeah, they were just like,
It's
well,
just
we
like,
lost them.
We gotta wait for the next one. What?
this happened at an airport.
Yeah.
You can't shoot someone at a
Oh,
fucking
hell
airport.
No.
Even in the 80s.
Hey, like I said, this is
You would be
pre-9/11.
murdered.
This is pre
You'd
Every
be mowed
location
down.
these guys went to would be swarming with cops within
Yep.
5 minutes because there's just a chaos.
This
of
is
like,
pre 9/11. America was beautiful then.
You could just
Don't
do
you
anything.
understand how beautiful America was before 9/11, Bob? That's why it mattered so much. And I'm tired of you fucking belittling it. All right? It was a beautiful world where you didn't have to have cops everywhere, man, because everybody believed in
didn't have to
everybody.
report
You didn't have
anything
to tell anybody
at
what you
all.
were doing. You were like, I'm a police officer. I just do whatever I want all the time. I might come across some crime.
they
I
were
might not.
literally,
Who cares?
they
The
were like
world
hitmen.
is a miracle. And then 9/11 happened, and you're like, it doesn't matter. Fuck you. Anyway, continue.
You
the
gotta
movie.
fill out paperwork now. Everybody, you gotta care about what you can't just kill people willy nilly.
All right. Sorry.
It's a lot of murders.
That happens a lot. Anyway,
We
it's
might,
a lot of
we might
murder.
leave a
Unchecked
murder
murders.
victim.
A lot of
We might leave a
unchecked
murder
murders.
victim where they're shot and set up a scene and call the paramedics. We may grab her and just throw her in the back of the
Yeah,
car.
and that's
Dude,
it.
they're all necrophiles. It's like, it's disgusting what goes on.
And then
Then
in,
they go to the hospital. They could have just, like you said, John, you said it. Like they could have just had it be, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
All one line, one sentence. Instead,
She's
they have a
dead.
whole scene at a hospital
And then
where they
waiting.
actually have a real location.
Yeah.
they're
Of
in a
all
hospital.
locations, they find a hospital for a doctor to tell them she died.
But not only that, but what he says, I think
So bad.
we did everything we could.
Yeah.
Which is like right out of the cliche book.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
what's the doctor going to say when he walks up?
No,
you
we
know?
did everything we
did
could.
everything
She's
we
Everything
dead.
we could.
She's
dead
dead.
as
She's
shit.
dead.
I don't know how else to tell
And
you.
that's when all three of the bosses show
Show
up at the hospital. You're like,
hospital.
why are they there?
Yeah.
They literally just brought that body. Who knows? Why do they know that they did any of this or
Yeah.
responsible
Who's
for it?
been told about what happened here?
no one.
No one.
Wasn't the chief like in bed, like not wanting to be bothered, just a little?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens when they get knocked out. They call
Okay.
him when they wake up
Yeah.
and don't have the key anymore because they're like, we're fucked. And
I
it's
just-
for real. And he's like,
They're
I
in
don't
general,
care.
everyone is so not in the know about what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You know why? I just thought about it. What if they're the villains?
The cops are the
What
bad
if?
guys.
What if? Oh,
Are you saying that it's like a Wicked situation?
Oh, fuck, man. What if this whole time we were watching the corruption
man.
going on, and they were the fucking villains? They were terrorizing
They
those
really were
people.
awful.
They
There's that
they
stretch
slaughtered.
There's that stretch of the film where they beat up some random guy in a
beat up-
t-shirt,
Oh, yeah.
like outside at night, and we don't have any context for what where
That's
he
true.
is,
We can't
what-
see what's going on. They're just like, hey, what are you doing here? And they just start
Fuck,
beating
man.
the shit out
he
of him.
sounded like a homeless guy.
Yes. We've been looking
beat
at
up
this
a
movie all
hermit.
wrong, man. We've been looking at this movie
That
all
guy
wrong.
hadn't left his home in like 30 years, and he steps out and gets
I
his
remember in the
ass
middle
kicked.
of the movie thinking like this movie I would give it so much credit if it was so bleak that actually the kidnapping victim, the hostage, that she died, and I would,
Yeah.
and then she does die, and I like in a weird way you got to give this movie credit for actually having kind of a nihilistic streak to it because that was
Yeah,
kind of
right.
unexpected. That's like something out of a Coen Brothers film. It's like it was all for nothing really at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end, like
Yeah.
the
Oh,
woman
Lord,
that
yeah.
should have been the crux of the heart of the movie.
No.
she should have been the movie. I
She's
mean,
super
and
murdered.
Right. Like, she should have been the one there
She was
protecting.
super murdered.
Totally. She's shot on a fucking escalator.
Yeah.
They're not even protecting her when she's shot. They're just like, what?
They're all
going
just
on?
standing on an escalator staring at men
it's
pointing
like,
guns
she's
at them.
nothing.
They didn't try to
whatever.
run down the escalator. They just
didn't pull
went
out their
down
guns,
the speed of the
which they
escalator.
had.
They were
To add to what you guys are saying, if you think about how this movie ends, they find out she was murdered by them getting shot on the escalator, and their reaction isn't, we're going to go and somehow... Like, I know that the Italian guy's dead, but is the Yakuza guy all dead at this point? Has he died? Has all his minions died?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm just saying, like, those guys are just like, well, it's over. We're going to take the money and go gamble it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no, like, passionate, like, thought about what the hell happened here. The fact that the woman who was brutalized and
Did
kidnapped...
they kill everyone right there at that point?
Well, there was the
No.
whole bazooka scene we didn't
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they go to the hospital, see the woman, then they go to the car, and
Yeah.
that's when they're just like having a casual conversation. He goes, "What in the fuck?"
Yeah, they're literally talking like, "Oh shit, look at that!" And it's like all the Yakuza people in a car shooting out of the car, driving.
I think he says, "The fuck is that?"
And he drops to the
And
ground.
it does that like
It doesn't
upside
move.
down
thing.
weird.
Little
spin
spin
kick on the ground.
Yeah,
Which is a great
He's
move.
ups. It's so stupid.
He calls it the tummy move.
The dummy-
and that
Sweet
leads to
little
a car chase that's like the saddest car
It's
chase
so
ever.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
like they go onto the sidewalk and then they pass them and then just go behind them. And it's
them and
like,
turn
is that
around.
over? Okay.
And then they do a U-turn and leave. Which is
And then we're in the Las Vegas Strip, like right after that.
Yep.
Like and that's when like he takes the cop.
Yeah.
Is he Hakamoto that takes it out?
No, it's Wilson,
Wilson.
shoots it.
Wilson takes a bazooka out of this car
But he jumps-
that they borrowed from somebody earlier in the movie.
Does he jump on top of the car?
Where did that bazooka
Hakamoto goes
come?
on the roof,
Guys,
Yeah.
throws the bazooka at him
Where
when
did
he
the
gets out of the car,
bazooka
and then
come
he jumps in the back.
from?
Who the fuck
No
knows?
it was in that guy's car that they borrowed. It was sitting inside
Yeah,
of
I'm
the car.
assuming they took it from
The
like
bazooka's like the
headquarters.
chainsaw in Thunderdome. It just comes out of nowhere.
It just you have
Yeah.
to swing up to the top. and
Yeah,
get
somebody
it.
off screen. Somebody just hands them the bazooka. He just,
It didn't even really like we talked about. It's just kind of like sparks shooting out of a
Yeah.
tube, and then a man explodes, but you don't really
Yeah.
see him.
it cuts
explode.
before
He
the whole
starts
body
exploding.
like yeah.
It's like something else.
Like one more frame and you would have seen a flame, but
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Yeah,
Did
it's
they
just-
try to blow up like a dummy and it looked so bad? they were
I
like,
think that's
"Oh."
probably what it
It
was.
probably looked like
It's probably
shit.
super bad.
But in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip, after all this shit has happened, these guys shoot a bazooka at a human being.
Yeah, blow up.
And it's not like that big of a deal. That's not
No.
like the huge part of the fight.
No,
Where
right.
do they kill
It's not the
just-
climax. It's
They
just like, oh,
glossed over
It's right
that.
after that.
nah.
What is? Yeah, so that's where he kills the Yakuza, and now they're dead.
Wilson takes a hit and is
That's
down.
right.
Yep.
They shoot
I
the
think the-
So
Cesaro
he
in
gets
the
shot in
neck.
the arm because he's
Yeah.
in a sling. I
Then they
think.
shoot Cesaro in the neck, very uncertain. He should have gotten hit by the bazooka.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
the fuck isn't he
Oh,
getting
yes,
exploded?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, so he's dead, and then everyone's dead that's evil, and she's dead. And then they
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
steal the fucking money.
yeah. They get fired and steal the money.
And they blow it.
And maybe the best scene in the movie is the end scene.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
Christ. They
That's the
both-
best scene. Like the
they-
fact that happened. Like,
Yakamoto puts 300,000 on black or red.
they go to a casino with stolen drug money,
Yep.
Yep.
and they bet it all on black and red.
$300,000
argue,
each.
and they-
$600,000.
Yeah.
And then it goes double zero. They lose all the money.
They're like, well,
And
we're
like-
jobless. We have no money.
What do you
Let's
want to
go-
do?
You
And he
go to
goes,
New York?
Yeah, you ever been to New York? No.
Do you think they were
Let's go ruin everything there because we're fucking parasites and corrupt cops.
We're a
and
goddamn
pieces of
virus.
shit.
Well, if this
Yeah.
was a fish out of water story about a simple Texas boy in Las Vegas, imagine what happens when those two guys are in the city that never sleeps. Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they don't sleep.
This
so-
movie took a day and a half, and they got it done.
Do you
It's
think
like, oh, I know that dead
they
guy.
were
Let's
setting
figure
up a
this out.
sequel?
I
You think
can't
they were?
sleep
You think
until
they were
we're
trying to
done.
set up a sequel to this?
like
by ending it
Hawkeye,
that way?
like
think
Lost
so.
in New York.
I hope.
I mean, the twist at the end. I mean, come on. Like
The twist at the end is they both kept a little bit of
yeah,
money.
they turned around.
Yeah.
Still got him. We have money in the back of our pockets.
But they also they turn around and start walking away arm in arm.
they
But they
pause.
stop walking, knowing it's supposed to be a freeze frame, and
Yeah.
the freeze frame happens like a second or two after they stop walking.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It's really nice because
I love that. It's
It's
like,
like,
an edit
ah,
in
that
film
was-
where
this
you see
was-
someone go up, like someone at a door, and it
Yeah.
cuts to them, and then they turn the knob. To the like, it's like soap opera acting where they're doing it so fast, and sometimes people are like,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
room.
Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to be. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the movie ends on this really, it's an insanely dark movie.
That's why he's
it's
a
really
hobo
dark
cop.
for them
He's
to
a
just be like,
hobo.
to them to take that money and waste it like that too.
Is insane. Yeah,
they have
could've
no
done
intention of
anything.
doing anything good with it. Anything, just like
$300,000, and they don't act like it's a big deal to lose.
600. They each had 300.
Oh yeah.
They're just like
600,000.
whatever.
Fuck. That's
They
a lot of money.
they fucking kill all these people are dead because of them. They could have done something good.
And then they wasted the money at the casino.
Insane. It's
Blood
insane.
money. They called it blood money.
Yep.
They don't even seem to be
give a
mourning over
blood
2
money.
people that have innocent people that have been killed.
Right. So many innocent people died during this movie. Or
And they're just
beaten.
okay with it. That's
So
no-
many people were brutalized or killed that it had nothing to do with any of this. It's insane. It's awful.
Pistol whipped,
Yeah.
raped, cut with a sword.
Just
That's all one person.
Who
It's true.
legitimately is innocent of all
And then
things.
she
Like
gets
she
killed.
didn't do anything.
And she is, man, that's dark.
The only thing she did wrong was think scripts are weird. That's it. That's the
Yeah.
only like sin she made. Is like writing is weird.
Maybe that is the truest crime of
No,
them all.
she didn't think it was weird. She
he
just-
was weird. That
No, she didn't say it was weird.
okay.
Nakamoto said it was
Oh
weird.
yeah.
Nakamoto thought it was weird.
Well,
that
then
he
she
wrote
has no. Then
scripts.
she's completely fine.
She's without sin.
yeah.
She's completely without sin at all.
It's
all times.
awful.
Yeah.
Well,
She's like, I think she might have a worse life than the woman in Vampire is.
Well, that's a reference for somebody who listens to the show. So
before we wrap it up, I wanted
Yeah.
to bring up one thing. I think we all sort of liked Chuck Jeffries in this film, right? Like
Oh, fuck yeah,
he was-
yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, he
For
was
like
awesome.
this type of film, he was not a bad actor, and the bonus of it being Eddie Murphy without being Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it's Kung Fu Eddie Murphy. It's awesome.
You might like to look at like what were his options after that. So I just did a little IMDb
Awesome.
research to discover after this Chuck Jeffries. One time being credited with a different spelling of Jeffries. I think that just shows that's a real sign of respect.
Yeah, that's an accident.
I'm gonna go
yeah.
backwards. I love this. This is see if you notice a theme in terms of the roles that he was offered later in his career. The Pink Panther remake from 2006, he played Thug in Alley. Hannibal from 2001, a movie that big film. I don't remember.
The Ridley Scott movie.
I don't remember
yeah.
Gangbanger with Machine Gun from that film, but apparently
Okay.
Sam?
Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai from 1999. He
Great
played
movie.
Mugger.
Jesus.
Girls 6 from 1996. Now that's a Spike Lee film, so
Yeah.
or Spike Lee joint. Pardon me. So that actually complicates things a little bit. But in that he played bad guy.
I was about to say it's like a romantic comedy kind of thing. Like, what is there
played
going to
the
be a
one
mugger
bad
in that,
guy,
a
yeah.
rapist in that?
Damn it.
12 Monkeys from 1995. He played Thug number 2.
Holy shit.
He played Thug in Alley earlier or later in his career, but at this point he was playing Thug number 2. And then maybe the closest to his work in this film that he did, and also maybe the best character name. It's a film by a Scandinavian director, I believe, named Flodder in America. From 1992, he played Annoying Negro number 2.
Oh my god.
Yes! Look, this movie should be famous for this guy, so he can go to like conventions.
That's
and
a
get paid
career,
for his-
man.
That's a career.
That's a career.
And also, like
Steady.
as recently as like 2015, if you look on there, all of his credits are like stunt supervisor, stunt man, that kind of thing. So it sounds like he has a career.
He probably has a
you know?
steady stunt career, and like they just put him in where he doesn't need to act.
Right.
Sounds
Well, a lot
to
of times
me like
stuntmen kind of
Or
have
he-
roles like
maybe
that,
he was
you know?
always hoping he'd get on SNL as a Eddie Murphy impersonator. Yeah, like
Very good at it.
he's
He is
really
really
good,
good.
man.
Really
He's
good.
really good. Well, whatever. I mean, he's good, but damn, this movie's depressing as hell. The more I think about
yeah,
it,
it's really awful.
it's really dark.
It's
They're
just about-
horrible human beings.
So much
Because
depth.
we've skipped over it. There's a scene where Yakamoto explains how his girlfriend was cut apart by a drug dealer
Cut ear to ear.
in Texas, and he murdered the guy. And the cops were like, "We look out for each other," so I didn't get in any trouble. They just told me to take a couple weeks off. And you're like, "This is horse shit!
Yeah.
You fucking asshole!"
It's disgusting.
God
it's like,
damn
come
it.
on.
They're
All
the
right.
villains.
Let's no more.
to be
no more.
over.
Hawkeye is amazing
Yeah, watch
and
the
dark
fucking
and
movie.
horrifying. It's on YouTube for free.
Oh, we also left out there were boom mics. You can see
Boom mics are
This movie's
everywhere.
amazing.
Look, they'll
Yeah.
discover that on their own.
yeah, it's on YouTube for free. Please watch.
Please, you don't need Netflix even. Just
Watch it on the
fucking watch
largest
it.
screen available. I
Yeah.
think.
It's beautiful. It's breathtaking cinematography. Please enjoy it. Guys, thanks for coming.
Yes,
This
thanks
was-
for having
Thanks
us.
for
yeah,
having us.
I hope
man.
you're not too depressed with some Hawkeye, some dark mountain abyss sludge in your heart now.
It was thought provoking.
Right? That's
Yeah.
really good.
It's
All right.
really relevant for these times. It's amazing.
Matt, thanks for hosting.
You have just listened to Bonus Disc. Questions, comments, and movie suggestions can be posted to facebook.com/bonus disc. Opinions and criticisms of the hosts and guests of Bonus Disc are 100% valid because they sit high atop Judgment Mountain. So quit your whining.